Okay.
You know what else I was thinking about? There's a commercial for Domino's for opening a franchise or something.
Right. Okay. All right. I want to call to order the Park Board meeting, Raymore Park Board meeting for Tuesday, April 25th, 2017. I'll ask all rise, ask for a roll call.
Excuse me.
Member Castleman.
Present.
Member Sepola.
Present.
Member Eastwood.
Present.
Member Harris.
Present.
Member Howdy Shell.
Present.
Member Seamers.
Present.
Member Troutman.
Present.
Member Heath is absent. Member Manson.
Present. All right, all rise for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have a personal appearance this evening, and Mr. Philip Nelson.
Hello, this is my Eagle Scout project. I'm going to be doing it at the TB Hanna Station Park. I'm going to be making a stone path. It's going to be about 200 feet long, and it's going to be made out of 12 by 12 paver stones. There's going to be about 400. It's going to be, the cost is going to be about $800. So that's my project. And I gave some pictures so you guys could see that. So,
Yes, we have those. Ms. Rulo.
Yeah, I might add that Philip came up with this project. Everybody knows up there at Hanna Depot, we have the native planters up there, the 4 sections there. We figure that when somebody sees a pretty flower in the middle, they basically just tromp right through and step on everything. This project came to us, we thought it was a great idea, very supportive of it, and I think it's going to end up being a great asset to the park.
Is this going to be on both sides or just one side of the central walkway?
This particular project is just going to be one side, and then we'll be looking for another Eagle Scout to do the simultaneous hold on the other side.
All right. Yes, Melinda.
So $800, that's a lot of money. Or how you, or we doing it?
I was
You doing
going
it?
to maybe go to Lowe's and see if they could donate some of them or give me a discount. And there's another brick place in Lee Summit that I might be able to get some of them donated from. So I'll just have to see.
Yeah, and Simcoe down the street. Might check. that
Yeah,
out.
my friend told me about them too.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna do gray to match the gray concrete. So
Well, I hope you have assistance on that. That's 200 stones. That's quite a bit of work,
yeah.
especially leveling them. Yes, Melinda.
I'm sorry, I have another question. You probably said this, and I just was like not paying attention. But how big are the stones?
12 by 12.
12 by 12. Okay. And then how are they going to be laid? Are they like just one? I mean, surely not.
Two side by side.
Side by side.
So it'd be
Okay.
about a 2-foot path.
Okay, you probably said all that, but see, that's why you pay attention. So, okay, good, thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions for this young man? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'll move for acceptance of the minutes from the prior meeting in March.
I move to accept the minutes from the March 28, 2017 meeting.
Second.
All right, a motion's been made and second. Any discussion or additions or changes to be made to the minutes? All right, since there's none, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor? All right, I have 4-4, 1 abstain. Pardon me, 7-4, 1 abstain. It must be one of my bad math nights. All right. We'll move on to committee reports. As it is, there was no committee meetings in prior month. So at this time, I'd move on to staff reports. Director Musting.
Thank you, sir. I will call on Superintendent McLean to give a recreation report.
Thank you, sir. I have submitted a report in the packet. I would like to highlight a few things. Of course, this is a busy time of year, so I'll try to make it as quick as possible, but want to highlight some of the major ones that we've been working on over the last month. Administrative-wise, we've been conducting a lot of interviews, hired seasonal staff for concessions, summer camp counselors, the summer camp director, in all preparation for gearing up for, of course, the spring concession operations with sports and then the summer camp. So we've been working on a lot of interviews and getting staff, part-time seasonal staff hired. Want to highlight a couple of the major meetings or trainings that staff has participated in over the month. April 15th, Coordinator Hedrick attended the Missouri Youth Soccer Association assigner training. It was a training course on how to assign officials and work with officials. So he attended that one, brought back some good information for us. So looking forward to seeing where that will go. Coordinator Keith, she attended the Age Positive Conference. This is for aging of all community, or age of all community. I'm messing that one up. Anyway. It's age positive, so it really focused. She went up there to get some ideas for senior programming, things to that nature. So looking into building some connections and networks into that. So anyway, she brought back some good information as well from that conference. And sorry I butchered that up. Myself and Office Assistant Nab, we attended the Rec Track user group meeting for Kansas and Missouri. It was held in Grandview. This one was mainly focused with the new software system update that we did. And basically everybody that was there had a lot of questions, and we were working through some of the glitches that they've had and they've fixed, and they gave us updates and some of those things, and we were able to build connections that way with other area users that have already gone through the migration as well. So attended that, and then with Director Musting, attended the Youth Sports Roundtable. Want to touch base on special events. One we have coming up next week, we are partnering again for the second time with the Raymore Peculiar Foundation to host the 5K Mad Dash Run Walk next Friday night. So if people would like to register for that, they have it online through their website. You can also do it on site that evening. So if you have any other questions or information you would like from that, please contact me. And then just to wrap up with adult sports, we're getting ready to kick off this Sunday with men's softball, spring softball season. We have 14 teams. That's maxed out. So we're excited for the growth in that particular program, because that's a 6-team jump from last spring. So I think part of that was due to a later start, and then some cooperative agreements we have with other area municipalities and what they offer. So, and then finally, we've been working on getting baseball ready to go, baseball and softball recreational league. They start practices this week. Coordinator Hedrick's been working very hard and getting teams put together, getting them through their coaches meetings, getting all their equipment out to them, and games are slotted to start the week of May 22nd. That's what I've highlighted, so at this time I'd be glad to entertain any questions.
Brian?
Good report. 3 questions. One, the April 8th Grand Slam tournament, how did that go? How many teams were there?
That one had 19 teams.
Nice. That's a good
So
number,
it went
right?
pretty well, yes,
Good.
for the first one.
And how many are we expecting April 28th? Do we know? Too early?
He's giving us the schedule tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning?
Yep.
Third question, the participation for recreation baseball, softballs at 626, where's that number compared to last year?
Down just a little bit. We had 671 last year.
Okay. That's kind
We
of
have a
big
couple
number, I
of,
guess.
we have a couple of scenarios we're working through. Overall, youth programs, sports programs are higher if you add all of them together than they were last year. We saw an increase in volleyball by about 25. We saw like 3 or 4 increase in soccer. But then we also offered the flag football, which we've never offered in spring, and there's like 70 in that one. So if you take that, some of those kids probably jumped from baseball over to flag. We are not the only ones that saw about the same decrease. Belton, Harrisonville also noted that they saw decreases in baseball, so.
Well, let's
about
be
the same
honest,
number.
we hit our probably highs ever after the Royals won the World Series, right? So.
Which is what I
kinda
think I
hard to keep
stated.
measuring up to
Yeah, I
that,
think
isn't
that
it?
was in a previous report that I couldn't take all the credit
Yeah.
for the growth, so.
Yeah.
But yes, we're, all in all, youth sports is up. If you average all of them together, if you add it all up. But yes, that's some of the things we're looking at, and some of them aged out, and some also went to competitive. A lot jumped to competitive this year, so
Okay, thank you, sir.
not a problem.
No other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Mustine.
Thank you, sir. I will call on Superintendent Rulo to give a parks report.
Thank you. I also submitted a written report, but just wanted to tell you all a few things. If you all have not been down to the baseball complex, the shade structure project is complete. It looks fabulous. The colors you guys picked really does pop. You can see that yellow you can see from Madison, and then all of a sudden when you're getting closer, the green comes in and contrasts everything. It ties everything together. Get down there and take a look. This weekend's going to be rainy, but it'd be nice to go down there on a weekend when one of these tournaments is going on and listen to everybody talk about these shade structures. Really nice. Also, just want to let everyone know that the rest of my part-time staff should be starting. One starts next week, one on Monday, and then one the following Monday. So other than that, I'll be willing to entertain any questions.
Yeah, I thought it looked really well. The shade structures looked great as well. I didn't feel like it made the concession stand look a little dull compared, because it's so much greener with the shade than the roof of the concession stand looked dull and faded. But it looks great.
Thank you.
Brian.
Yeah, I was going to save it for the last comment, but since everybody's jumping on it, I umped out there last night, so I got to see them. They do look awesome. I was, to be honest, really kind of hesitant on the whole shade structure deal, because I figured our night games, the sun would be down low enough and it really wouldn't do any good. Showed up at 6 o'clock and everybody was sitting in shade. I, to be honest, was pretty amazed at that fact. I assumed it'd be low enough and it wouldn't affect anybody. It does look good. The one thing I did notice, which doesn't necessarily make it bad, it seems smaller out there, right? There's not as much blue space above you when you're out there, especially in the middle, but, I didn't seem to mind. It seemed a little more cozier, I guess you might want to call it that way, but they do look good. Colors look great. The install was good. I went up before the game actually and asked everybody what they thought. Just kind of yelled out, "What's everybody think of the shade structure?" And man, smiles, being people like, "Yeah, these are awesome. These are great." So, got good comments from people that were there to watch the game. So, good job.
Thanks. I will add on, you mentioned the install. When the contractors were down there, I was down there for a good portion of it, and I actually had one of my employees down there actually helping along with them, so he got to know exactly what's going to need to be happening come fall whenever we have to take them down and then put them back up. Jake came back and said that's the best thing we ever did, and very easy but time consuming. So looking forward to that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. Director Mustine.
Thank you, sir. I have a couple things to highlight outside of my written report. First of all, just a recap of what's been going on at the City Council last couple meetings. We did the first and second reading of the fireworks contract through J&M Displays that has passed and approved. And then last night at council, we passed a resolution allowing the discharge of the fireworks on July 1st that this board and both the council supported. And so this year, for the first time since I've can recall ever in Raymore, the fireworks, Spirit of America fireworks display will be on July 1st, and that is a Saturday night. So plan your weekend and your Saturday around that event. We look forward to a big time, and Jerry Lynn always does a good job. I expect no less this year as well. So those are one of the things that I wanted to highlight. Another thing from a council perspective, I give a monthly staff report to the city council, usually at the first business meeting of the month. I have asked that we change that to the last meeting of the month. So beginning in May, my staff report, if you tune in to watch how awesome I do, you can tune in on the last business meeting of the month in May. Ultimately, I did that so that I could do the same report I give to you, so I can give to the council and not double my efforts once a month. So just a little side note there. Coming up, work sessions for the city council. May 1st, work session. Both work sessions will probably be of note for the park board. Next week is work session regarding Centerview, where we will discuss some of the policies, procedures, some additional things with the council. Upon their work session, I anticipate bringing the policies and procedures to this board during our May work session, the second Tuesday of the month. So be prepared to see that. But if you want kind of a firsthand view of what to expect, Monday night is an opportunity for you to come and be involved in this interview discussion with the council. It is not a joint work session, but they will be discussing at the table. And then on May 15th, I believe, is the second work session for the city council, and that is when they will be seeing the branding initiative that the branding committee has been working on. Councilmember Holman announced last night that they would be presenting that to the council, and everyone is welcome to see that. So that will include all efforts, all departments, and just to be truthful, I have not seen it or been a part of it, so I can give you no heads up of what to expect or anything other than everybody says to be excited. So just a couple things there. Centerview, as you can see, is coming along. It's really, really neat inside. It's just a very cool facility. I would like to, I'll probably talk with the project manager, Ralph, over there and see if maybe during one of our May meetings, he can give me a key so that I can give you a tour of what it looks like now in comparison to what it was the last time. I couldn't do it tonight because they're polishing and working on the floor, so the timing didn't work out. But I'll do my best to get you in anytime within the month of May. If I can't make it happen during the weeknight, be more than happy to do a one-on-one tour with each of you during the day. If you can make it at a lunch hour or something like that, if that is convenient for you. So just making that offer available. And finally, the RAC, Raymore Activity Center. We meet this week. We've been working with the contractors that bid on the project, just negotiating, going through pricing and things, trying to make sure that the budget fits all of the expectations that we have for the facility and still provides everything that we need for it to be. So that is not forgotten. It's just still in that negotiation process. And with that, be happy to answer any questions.
Brian?
Yeah, next Monday, they're going to talk about policies for Centerview. It's not the joint session. We're not involved in that. We just sit and listen.
This next Monday, I apologize. It's mostly just staff presenting to the council, and then staff will present to the park board as well. So this is our work that we've been doing. It just isn't ready to give to you tonight, so it'll go to the council work session, then it'll go to the park board work session.
Okay.
That's the process.
But there's still time for input.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Director. All right, there's no old business. On the new business, item A, it's an action item. This is Festival in the Park alcohol request. Director Musting.
Thank you, sir. As you know, every year the Festival in the Park Committee hosts an annual event at Memorial Park. One of the activities that they do during the Festival in the Park is they host an open beer garden, it's usually on Friday night and Saturday. By the Alcohol in the Park policy, they have to present a letter of request to the Park Board for consideration. Upon your approval, it goes to the council, and in the meantime, they apply for a permit and a state liquor license, all of those things. They have proceeded with their portion of the application and submitted a letter of request. This is standard procedure as far as what's been happening. This does comply with the policy. The policy also, the updated version of the policy that we completed last year, immediately following their application. So everything is in place. This is their request for permission to move forward. And what we are asking for is approval of that. And then we would present, upon city manager's approval, not only the updated MOU that we completed in March, but also this request for alcohol to the council in one agenda item during the month of May, and proceed with that. And with that, I will answer any questions.
I believe it includes all the areas that the festival is being held in, correct?
Yes, sir, it's listed in the letter.
All right. Brian?
I move to approve the 2017 Festival in the Park Committee's request to serve alcohol at the 2017 Festival in the Park.
I'll second it.
All right, motion's been made and second to approve the Festival in the Park alcohol request. Any discussion?
Yeah, I do. I just want to ask about one thing. Last year was the first year we took it away from the barriered area, right? Was it last year the first year that it wasn't in the enclosed area? It was
I
2
believe
years it's been going on?
This will be the third year.
This will be the third year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to know if anybody mentioned anything or if it's been an issue at all, because I haven't heard of anything, but I just want to make sure that
No, sir.
all the changes we've been
Nothing
making
through our
are good.
office.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? All right. Since there is none, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor? Approved unanimously. Item B, this is a report item only, and this is regarding efficiency improvement implementation. Director Mustine.
Thank you, sir. This is part of my annual SMART goals that was issued by the Park Board and the city manager. I do a quarterly report on things any changes we've made, whether it benefit the department financially or just from an efficiency standpoint. A couple things that we've done internally over this past year, I guess since January began, is we kind of revised our meeting schedules. What we've noticed is we're doing a lot, and keeping each other in communication and up to date on what we're each doing without having just full staff meetings all the time, it's really can be cumbersome and prohibitive for getting work done. So we just revised our meeting schedules. Clearly, the recreation department has the most to do, has the most meetings, because they have the most presence in the public and the most programs going on. And it's important from my perspective to relay to both Steve and John during our superintendent's meetings what's going on at the management level of the city and through the city council, and any communications that I have with the park board. So we've really tried to just define how we meet. Obviously, that's a work in progress. A couple things. Sometimes we find that it's really a waste of time. It's not worth it. One of the main things that we've added was what I call a department team meeting. And it's every other Wednesday. I send out a Google form that allows each of my team members to submit a request to be placed on the agenda if there's something specific they want to talk about. So like Jerry Lynn, for instance, instead of doing a wrap-up meeting and a pre-meeting for every event we do, which would be with 16 events, that's 32 meetings a year, that's a lot. We just folded those into our every other week meeting. So as it comes up, she just puts that as an agenda item. Same thing for athletic coordinator Hedrick, as programs, baseball starting or whatnot, projects in the park. Just, we've done a couple of them. They seem to go pretty good, and I've been fairly clear, if it's not on the agenda, we ain't talking about it, and we keep moving through it pretty quick. So just little things like that we're trying to iron out and be more efficient, especially when we move here or further apart. And so we need to become more efficient in how we communicate. Unfortunately and fortunately for us, we're a department that will always be separate. We'll never be in the same facility working like others do, and so we have to be pretty clear on how we communicate. The next thing, a follow-up, is the implementation of RecTrack and the upgrades that we've done. I know John and Greta can tell you, because they use it more than anybody else in the department, but it's a work in progress. It's learning the new tricks and the little idiosyncrasies of the program, but it's there. It's functioning, and it should be fully functional, and we should be experts at it, especially by the time we are in Centerview. So we appreciate the funding for that and doing that upgrade, because it was much needed. And that concludes staff report.
Any questions? Eric?
You could have included your moving to the fourth week for your quarterly report as an efficiency improvement as well, right? So.
Yes, sir, I could have, but that would have been inefficient in my time tonight, since I've already said it once.
That's good.
Excellent communication. Any other questions for the director? Michelle?
Mine's just more of a comment. Mr. Hedrick, how he's taken everything on that he has. How did we do it before without him? It seems like, it's amazing that all that stuff was getting done
The
without
two
him.
previous recreation coordinators are bald. And that's, and so is the new athletic coordinator. He has been very helpful, and we're very excited and pleased to have him. It's lessened our workload and also increased us our job duties all at the same time. So it's been a good addition.
Well, that comment from Mr. Hedrick doesn't speak well for the future. He could suffer hair loss like the previous two. All right, thank you. Item C on the agenda. This is the disc golf project completion. Director Musting.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to ask Superintendent Rulo to take this one, because he has done all of this project, and I'm sure he's excited to talk to you about it.
Always. Thank you. As you all know, in 2014 CIP plan, there was $25,000 budgeted for a disc golf course to be designed in-house and installed by the park maintenance staff. Park board member Eric Eastwood graciously volunteered to design the course, and the maintenance staff started installing the project, or the equipment. With the installation of the course signage, additional basket sleeves, a few maintenance items, all major purchases and development of the course is complete. Additional basket flags have been purchased for replacement, and some landscaping materials are stored for beautification purposes. All remaining items in day-to-day care of the course will fall into the regular maintenance program under park operations. There's one outstanding bill to pay, which will leave us a final balance of $815.17. Staff recommends to officially close CIP Project 189 Raymore Disc Golf Course, with the remaining funds to be placed in the available park fund balance. With that, I would be happy to entertain any questions.
We have no questions, then I'll entertain a motion.
Is this an action item? It was listed as a discussion item.
It's also an action item listed.
Oh, and an action. Oh, Mr. Chairman. Oh, no.
Brian?
Let's let Eric do this one. This is kind of a big one for Eric.
Oh,
This is his little baby.
Well, it's only 3 years in the making.
Nobody second it, though.
I make a motion that we officially close CIP Project 189 Raymore Disc Golf Course, and then the remaining balance of the funds be placed in the park fund balance.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, motion's been made and second to officially close CIP Project 189 Raymore Disc Golf Course, with the remaining funds to be placed in the park fund balance. Any further discussion? Brian?
No discussion, but I'd like to make a comment that I'm glad to see this project close out, not for the fact that it's just been around for a long time and we've had, issues back and forth and different stuff. But for the fact that it's up, it's in good shape. I see people using it all the time. And it was a good project. I don't know, Eric initially came with it, I don't know how many years ago? 5 years ago? Probably 5 years ago, 2012. And so it's a good project we took on. It wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't very expensive for as long as it took, but it took a long time. Glad to see it closed out. Good job, Eric. Good job.
All right, if I see no further discussion, this time I will entertain the vote. All those in favor of closing this project? All right, passes unanimously. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Eastwood. Item D on the agenda is an action item. This is a shade structures project completion. Director Musting.
Thank you, sir. We're going to stay along the same category here and ask for approval to close out another project that we're doing. Pretty exciting, getting a lot done, and I just want to comment on the disc golf. It's an excellent amenity. I mean, it gets used all the time. We're very excited about it, and we thank you, Eric, for helping do that, and thanks to Steve and his guys for carving out some time. I know it took a long time, but it was done very cost effective, as Brian said, so great job to everybody involved. As far as the shade structure goes, this was a project that was contracted, so just to give a little summary, this one will need a recommendation from you to go to City Council to officially close that and by resolution, because that is a contract in place. What we are asking tonight is that the project is substantially complete. We ultimately, all of the work is done. We are waiting on the final pay request, which I believe is sitting on my desk now. And what I'm asking is for an approval from the park board to, once we feel like all the punch list items are complete, all of the, just the initial shock factor of the project is up. We've seen it for a few weeks. We know how it functions. We can move forward with the final request and a recommendation to the City Council to go ahead and close this project via resolution. I'm asking for this now as tentative, so that we don't have to wait to May to do this, for these guys to be able to get their final pay in June, and basically asking for your permission to give us the flexibility based on what we see in working with these contracts to move forward. We have been very pleased with the work. The contractors themselves, from Shade Systems, Out and About, and Action Construction, I mean, everything has been great. They've been great to work with. The project, we've negotiated the time to make it flexible for us and work for them. It's been a very cordial arrangement. We've kept it under budget. We're within contract. So we have zero complaints, and we hope that this is a project that they can take pictures of and brag about and kind of showcase us as we also brag about them. So with your approval, I would like to be able to take this to the City Council sometime during the month of May for a resolution. I'm anticipating the last meeting of May.
Any questions? Melinda?
When's your final walkthrough scheduled?
Well, right now, what we probably will do, we go a couple weeks and just see how it works, especially with more fans and more spectators and more games being played. We'd like to, honestly, I'd like to get a storm under our belt and see how it holds up in the wind and stuff like that. So we're not going to rush it, but I don't want to wait too long, because these guys, they worked hard and they deserve to get paid for a job well done. So we have some things that we want to do. I would say a couple weeks before we move forward with basically a walkthrough with them.
Okay.
Brian?
I move we have the director present a resolution for final payment and acceptance of the project, and present that resolution to City Council once he deems the punch list has been completed.
Second. All right, I have a motion made and seconded to have the director present this to resolution for final payment to the city council. Any discussion on it? All right, all those in favor? Passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, there's no public comment. We'll move on to board comment tonight. Brian.
Yeah, I got two quick things. The first one is I do want to give a shout out to City Council and thank them. There's been a couple things that have come up in the last month that has really shown either their trust in us to make good decisions or that they believe in the decisions we're making. I'm not sure which it is. Doesn't really matter. I just want to thank them for it. The first one's a firework contract and the move from July 4th to the Saturday before. That decision was made last night, but earlier this month, they also, I don't know if the proper term is right, designated TB Hanna as park property. So that was turned over to us. I believe that was April 8th, I think. So I want to thank them for that. And the second one is I thanked Eric for disc golf, but also want to thank Mr. Rulo, who I know did a lot of work on that. And while I'm thanking him, I'll thank the rest of the staff for all their work they've done. I was at Rec Park. I've been to Memorial Park for my son's tennis, been to Rec Park, and all the facilities look great. It's spring, the rain's making the grass look good, so let's see how it is in dog days of August. But for now, everything looks great, awesome. Please keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
Steve.
Just real quick, I agree with what Brian said, that the parks look fantastic, so great job with those. Also, the food truck, I think we have a fancy name for it, but I don't remember. I was there. Crowd was incredible. There were 15 people deep for all the food trucks. So that's a really nice project, and I'm glad we're going to continue doing it. Thanks.
Melinda.
I wanted to mention the food truck also. We were out of town, we weren't able to do it, so I hope this is something that, I love, like we came up today, that's fun, having them up on Tuesdays. But I'd like to see the big event, more frequently. Apparently if they're 15 deep, then we could do it more frequently. So I don't know how often we're planning to that. I thought it was just once or twice, yeah. I'd go for every quarter if you wanted to ask my opinion. But anyway, that's a fun idea, that's fun. Yeah, the parks looks great. I love that we got the shade structures up. I think that's great. Love that thank you for all your work on that. There's no way we could have pulled off that price without you doing that and you doing that, your guys. So thanks again. And that's all I got.
Eric.
Yeah, I just want to echo, thanks, Steve and your staff. You guys did a great job. I think it come together really nice. Signs, everything, just, it looks really good. The rest of the parks look great. I used to laugh because, like, tonight we had a CIP, project that we talked about that was, $100K for a sidewalk, and we spent a quarter of that to put in an amenity that a lot of people use. Not that people don't use sidewalks, but it sort of puts it in perspective for me, and I'm like, when I first proposed it, I was like, come on, we did other sidewalk projects, and I'm like, we can't do a quarter of a sidewalk less, to put this in. And so it is a passion of mine, and was really excited to see it brought together and realized by all you. Actually, you've all had probably some input into it, and so thanks everyone, and keep up the good work.
All right. Michelle.
The food truck, the truck night, the Easter egg hunt, and the touch-a-truck, I've gotten tons of emails, texts, Facebook, videos, and just everyone's excited and had a good time, and thank you.
Sheldon.
The park board and the park department probably got a thumbs up that they're not aware of. I'm on the Charter Review Commission, and we've been currently going through boards, commissions, committees, and the park department and the park board are getting more smiles and endorsements than I think you realize. And this is a very broad spectrum of citizens on a Charter Review Commission. They think very highly of both the park board and the park department.
Excellent. Jenny.
I just wanted to comment that my son and I went to the touch a truck, not because I think he wants to touch a truck, but we wanted to see the event because I had heard so much about it. And we wound up having to turn around because we were going to have to park in Timbuktu just to go see the crowds looking at it. That's how huge it was. I couldn't believe it. So congratulations, guys. It's a good event. It's a very good event. And all of the hard work that you guys do. And I guess we need to say thank you to the new council members that we have coming to us, and about them changing, rezoning TB Hannah into a park. So it's officially ours now. So that was really neat to see at the Monday before last meeting, city council meeting. So we want to thank them for doing that. That's it.
All right, thank you, Jenny. It's a combination of a highly professional staff and a dedicated park board that we've accomplished a lot of the things we have up to this point. And it's always good, sorry, Eric, to close out a project, disc golf, and the shade structures for the ball fields, because that means we've accomplished something. And that means the citizens have benefited from that, both from the staff and from the board, but more especially the staff, because you've done all the work. We hardly turned a wrench, and we certainly haven't hoisted any shades. So in saying that, I hope we have more projects complete in the near future, and we can come forward and say that they're done. Both, and the CIP projects we have for the future for this city are excellent ones, and we're going to keep adding to them as we grow. So with that, I'll say thank you all, and thank you, staff. And for that, I'll call for an adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
All right, motion and second. All those in favor of adjournment? All right. This meeting's formally adjourned.